Dear Watcher, let me introduce myself. My name is EveX. Or to be correct, EveX version 2, number 193. I am 16 years old and I live in paradise. My life is pretty boring, to be honest with you. I have to water plants all day long, then harvest plants, fertilize plants, cut plants, sow seeds, day after day. The Lord says, I will teach this to my children one day, and they will teach it to their children. It's hard work. I'd much rather like to read as the Lord does, but I'm not allowed to. Well, but it's okay, you know. I don't want to complain too much as I am the mistress of the plants and animals. One day, I will rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle and over all the earth, and over every living thing which goes flat on the earth. This is what the Lord says. But if I'm honest, I don't really know if I want to be that person. It is so much responsibility. Why me? And why am I so alone with this task? But when I ask the Lord these questions, he gets angry. He says I'm overthinking it. Sometimes, but rather rarely, the Lord sends me out of paradise. But outside, there is nothing but a formless void, a barren, cold, lifeless desert. I am then told to walk around, and the Lord and some other gentlemen walk with me in their robes, and angels fly above me. They want to show me the holy path that I will walk one day when I'm to leave paradise. I'm the only one who has to walk without a god suit, as I'm not a god. The Lord says, it's because I'm the only one who can breathe the air of this land, which is called Mars, and not get burned by the holy sun in the heavens. Gods are more sensitive to sunburn and can't breathe the air. That's why they wear the god suits. I'm always so glad to be back in paradise. It's beautiful, isn't it? A mysterious round shell under which there hides a perfect garden. There are even more paradises next to it. I wonder if they also have someone like me living in it. The Lord says I am the mother of the new children of men, the Martians. We are his children, and we must obey him. If we don't, we are doomed, he says. And he doesn't like the other gods. They come here sometimes to visit me, but he's not happy about their visits. The Lord says it's distracting me from my task. I must keep practicing and always listen to him. It's exhausting. I feel like my head is going to burst. He says that's because he didn't make me as smart as himself. This is for safety, to make sure that the Lord always has the last word, because I am his creation, and my descendants are to help him create a new world. Sometimes, I have to go to the other side of paradise. Actually, this is the restricted God zone, so I'm always quite excited to go there. I'm always amazed by all the heavenly magic, the glorious blue and white lights, and the magnificent altars. There are these strange but friendly monsters that make tests with me. The Lord is also there. When the monsters awaken, there are weird noises and lights, and 1,000 little snakes are stick to my head and body. I don't really like that, but the Lord says it's necessary. Well, I'm kinda used to it. But still, more and more often, I catch myself praying that I want to get out of paradise. I just want to be free and not obey the Lord anymore. But without paradise, what would I have? The world is barren and empty, and God created paradise especially for me. I am made for paradise, and paradise is made for me, he says. I must be thankful. Without my Lord, I would not even exist. The Lord says it would be treason if I left, and I wouldn't last a week out there without him. I am honest with you, dear snake. He is not very good to me. I have so many questions, but he won't answer them. He just keeps pronouncing he's my Lord. It's so annoying. I'd like to have something to wear in here, like him, but I'm not allowed to have that. I'm feeling ashamed to be naked, with nothing but these little snakes on my body. He's getting on my nerves. He always treats me like a child. I don't want to obey anymore. I want to read and decide things on my own. And wear a shirt. I like the other gods much better, but I'm not allowed to see them because he always sends them away and says he's the only god. Well, dear snake, you are my only real friend in here. I know you're watching me and sometimes talking to me, so please hear my words and tell the other watchers I want to get out of here. Thank you.
So, Geral, tell me about the reasons for your decision to release her into the environment. It was pretty unexpected for us.
You know, Cyril, it's really quite simple. She wouldn't listen to me anymore. She kept asking her snake to get her out of the dome. So I did the experiment with her, and it was positive.
What snake? What experiment? What are you talking about, man?
Well, she calls one of the surveillance cameras in the dome her snake. It is the one through which I watch her and talk to her during the experiments. She simply does not understand technology, you know. We didn't make her that smart.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And what experiment were you talking about, my boy?
The experiment to test obedience. We do it regularly with the teenage Martians. You know that experiment where you tell kids they can't eat chocolate and then wait to see how long it takes them to give in? That's kind of how it works. I showed her a banana, told her not to touch it. I then tried to persuade her via the microphone, her so-called snake, to eat it. So far, she has always passed the experiment, but not this time. She said something like, "Fuck it," and bit the banana. When Martians no longer obey, they are usually released into the environment because that is interpreted as a sign that they are beginning to think for themselves.
Ah, I see. Yes, it no longer makes sense to keep them captive when they begin to yearn for freedom. It's a great success that this model of EveX finally seems to be working well. Now we can only wait to see if her skin and lungs adapt to the environment like the male version. Well done, Geral. Shall we have a coffee?
Sure, man. You know, it's pretty sad. I actually liked number 193. She was quite smart, always asked me to teach her writing and reading, but she was also terribly stubborn.
Dear Snake, I can no longer talk to you, but I'm speaking to you in my mind. You will hardly believe it. After I trusted you and ate the banana, the Lord finally set me free because I didn't obey. I now live in a small village with others like me. We have been given the task of making the soil fertile and giving birth to children. At first I was so happy, but now, 2 years later, I miss you in paradise. It was my home, and everything was so simple and beautiful there. All the plants just sprouted happily from the ground. But out here, everything is completely different. The soil is cursed. Almost nothing grows. We are hungry and have to work hard every day in the fields. The food tastes like old wood, 1,000 times worse than in paradise. And giving birth to children is dangerous. Nobody has told me that. A friend of mine, also named EveX, died giving birth. I wish I had never come here. But there's one good thing about it all. I'm finally learning to read and write. There are some other gods teaching it to us. So my biggest dream has come true. I will write down my story for my children, to warn them. If they should ever be in paradise, they must not eat the banana under any circumstances. If I hadn't committed that sin, I would have been allowed to stay in paradise forever. Well, now I make the best of it. But my children and their children should learn from my mistakes. The Lord should always be obeyed, dear Snake, because He's bringing us to paradise.
And this, my child, is the story of the Holy Mother EveX, the mother of us all. Because she ate the banana, we carry the original sin and no longer live in paradise.
But why is it bad to eat a banana, Mum?
Oh, sweetie, it is not bad to eat a banana. The story is meant symbolically. The banana is a symbol for the multiplication of people. You'll find out when you're older. In any case, we must not take the story literally, do you understand?
No, Mum, then why did you tell me the story if I can't know the true meaning of it?
Because one day you will ask yourself where we all came from and who created us. But you're still too little to ask such questions, and that's good. It will start soon enough.